Hello guys, it's Algirdas with quick playing tips, and today we're going to talk about the tongue in brass playing. Are we actually aware of the physical process when it comes to creating the articulation? How can we improve our tongue speed and attack clarity? Does the tongue affect other aspects of our playing aside from the articulation? That and much more in this episode of Quick Playing Tips. Before we start, I just wanted to let you know that I will be running a little contest at the end of the month where the winner will get a free online lesson with me. I'll talk a little bit more about the rules at the end of the video, so make sure to check it out. Anyways, back to the topic. Tongue-related questions have been one of the most popular inquiries I've been receiving lately. There's so much to cover in regards to this topic that I could probably go on for hours. However, today I'm going to explain some basics which I believe are important to know for every brass player, as well as share with you a couple of exercises which I believe will help you address multiple aspects of your tonguing technique. A common misconception that I've been hearing very often, especially when it comes to younger players, is that we articulate the note by hitting the space in between our lips with the tip of our tongue. In fact, it is completely the opposite. The brass articulation is nothing but a simple tongue interruption with the airstream for a brief moment. That is being done by retracting the tongue at the start of a note rather than extending it. There's a really great short video by Meidt actually showing how articulation looks like with the help of the X-ray. I'll put the link to it in the description box below, so feel free to check it out. That being said, let's talk about the possible ways to adjust your tongue for better speed and clarity.
Shall we?
So just like mentioned before, what we hear as an articulation is nothing more but a simple tongue interruption with an airstream. As most of you probably know, it is very important to maintain a consistent airstream for our tone production. Therefore, articulation can impact your sound, register, response time in a negative way if done incorrectly.
What?
The answer is quite simple: tongue placement. The execution though is a little bit more complex. Apart from a few exceptional circumstances, it is extremely important to keep the tongue in a position which would never block the airway. As we play, tongue position will change according to the range, particularly the back of the tongue. So, as you can probably see, most of the work when it comes to articulating is being done by the back of our tongue rather than tip. From my personal experience, tip of the tongue is the part that usually gets in the way of the air with a lot of players who have issues articulating. In the ideal circumstances, the only part that should be changing direction should be the back of your tongue, so I always suggest players trying to keep the end of their tongue as low in their mouth as possible. Some players call this an anchor technique. Me personally, I do not think about this as a separate extended technique. I just consider it as a part of having a great airflow by not blocking the air with your tongue.
Oh.
Whenever I hear someone with articulation problems, the first thing I normally ask is where exactly is your tongue when you attack? So what I want you to do now is to play along with me a simple C major or concert pitch B flat scale and focus entirely on where your tongue is. Now that you start to become more aware of your tongue, the next step is to ask yourself where exactly was your tongue placed when you were articulating. Was it in between your teeth, behind your lower teeth, or maybe behind your upper teeth? Once you answered yourself this question, I want you to play the same scale again and focus on making sure that each time you articulate, your tongue attacks in the exact same spot. By now you should have noticed that your articulation is becoming more consistent and better timed. Now it's time to work on opening your sound up when tonguing. The next step is going to be lowering your tongue in your mouth slightly, thus not only allowing you to have a better airstream for a bigger sound, but also helping with consistency and ease when tonguing really fast. The key is to set your tongue at the right position during your inhale, so by the time you need to play, you are ready to simply release your tongue and let the air go. Make sure to keep your tongue placed at the bottom of your mouth when you breathe. If you're doing it correctly, you should hear a very dark sound to your breath, as well as your Adam apple sinking down as you inhale. Start by practicing your breath without an instrument. Now we're going to apply this to our playing. There are a few things you need to remember first. Make sure to keep the instrument steady when you breathe. Breathe through the corners of your lips to avoid losing the contact with your mouthpiece, and keep your tongue low when you're doing this. It will reduce the chances of bad response timing, and it will ensure you have a great setup for both inhale and exhale. Since this is a lot of information to think about, all I want you to play is an articulated C or concert pitch B flat pattern. Practice until you get more comfortable with all the points mentioned. When you start feeling slightly more comfortable digesting all the information and applying it all at once, move on to the next exercise I'm about to show. Play this exercise in a variety of scales in either low range, mid-range, or pedal range. Do not attempt practicing this in high register before you feel very comfortable articulating. This will help you to prevent facial muscle injuries and unnecessary fatigue. Track your tempo and make sure you set yourself a new speed goal every day. Try to keep the positioning of your tongue as consistent as possible even when you change ranges. It should not fluctuate all that much in a comfortable low to mid ranges. Once you stop progressing on your exercises, feel free to mix it up. As long as you have a correct application, the exercise variety will play less of an important role. That being said, I've been really emphasizing the importance of getting the tongue out of the way of the air to improve the speed, tone, and consistency of the attack. Recommended exercises and advice will differ from player to player and also from instrument to instrument. Some great players keep their tongue high, some keep it low. However, they all usually have developed an articulation technique to the point where the tongue is not cutting off the air unless trying to purposely over-articulate. You need to get to the point where the movement of the tongue does not cause any fatigue, decrease in speed, and attack is consistent sounding in all ranges. I personally find more success overall with keeping my tongue on the lower side of the mouth, and it is something that my younger students respond very well to. With all this in mind, let's move on to the double and triple tongue. So double and triple tongue are two very commonly used extended articulation techniques. It eventually comes down to simply mixing up two different syllables, which is da and ga. Double tongue would be a mix-up of daga and triple tongue would be dadaga or dagada. Some players like using ta and ka instead as their choice of syllables, but I personally recommend da and ga. It's mainly due to the nature of tongue movement when we pronounce it. If you really focus on how tongue moves when you say taka versus daga, you'll notice that da and ga helps to keep the tongue tip lower in your mouth, which causes less interruption with the air. As a result, it helps you to increase the speed and ability to articulate fast for a longer period of time. That being said, let's play a couple of exercises which will help you to improve both double and triple tongue. Before we get into the exercises, I just wanted to remind you that working on your single tongue is the most crucial part of having a great articulation. It will be the factor that will determine how good your double and triple tongue can become. With that in mind, let's work on 3 types of exercises: speed, stamina, and coordination. We will start off with the most basic part, that is speed exercises. So speed exercises are not only going to help you develop quicker articulation, but they are also the best type of exercises to start with if you're a complete beginner when it comes to double and triple tongue. Speed exercises are the exercises that will use a full combination of daga or dadaga on one note before changing to another. They are very simple, very effective, and extremely useful when it comes to getting your brain used to saying the syllable combinations. We will use exercises 77 to 85 for double tongue and exercises 1 to 14 for triple tongue. This is from Arban's method book. These exercises will be found under the tonguing section on the second half of the book. If you do not have a copy of your book, you can check the link down below in the description and download it for free. Let's get working on it. These exercises are put together in a progressive order for both double and triple tongue, and you should be striving to increase the speed on them every day by a couple of beats up until you become pretty advanced with them. Make sure that your clarity and smoothness do not suffer when trying to play faster. Be patient with it and do it on a daily basis. Another important part of multiple tonguing is going to be finger and tongue coordination. And for development of this particular skill, we will use exercises that will have changing notes as we do our syllable combinations instead. Exercises 87 to 112 would be the exercises I really like for double tongue, and 47 to 73 are my exercises of choice for the triple tongue. Let's get going. Finally, the third type of exercises you need to be doing on a regular basis when learning tonguing techniques will be stamina exercises. And this applies more toward triple tongue. From my personal experience, a lot of players seem to have much harder time maintaining triple tongue speed rather than double tongue. So the exercises that will allow you to focus on this issue will be number 21 to 46. You could also find other method books with cool exercises, but Arban covers it all, plus it is very easy to get a hold of. The key point here will be to work on consistency of your tongue movement. It is very important to make sure that we always maintain the airflow. We'll try to be tonguing in a controlled manner and without any extra unnecessary tongue involvement. Think of where is your back of the tongue placed at the start of every single note and make sure it stays in the reasonably similar position throughout all the notes. Do not allow the tip of the tongue to get too involved and close the gap in between the lips for the air to stop moving. Let's give it a go. As always guys, thanks for watching. I really hope you found this video useful and informative. If you liked it, please show support by giving it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. As I've mentioned, I will be running a little contest for you guys. Leave a suggestion for the topic of the upcoming video down below. You could also leave it on my Facebook page or Twitter. Whoever gives out the best topic, I will announce that person in the next video and will give him or her a free online lesson. Make sure to participate and get your friends involved. You might be the chosen one. As always, I appreciate your time. Make sure to stay safe, work hard, and keep motivated. Till the next time.